In the last video, we set up the OK button to where we know that it's functional. However, it's only functional right now on, well, it's not functional, but we know it's working. So we call the try door and it succeeds how it's supposed to. However, we need to set up a way so when we walk up to a door and press F, we want the widget to open. Or let me rephrase that, we want it to be displayed. So what we're going to have to do is, for now, we're just going to launch it up on the character, and then we eventually will move it to the player controller, so that way we're not constantly creating the widget and then destroying it and so on. Instead, we want to just hide and unhide. And in my opinion, the way to do that is going to be through the player controller, just to keep it out of the character. What we need to do is open up our interactable interface, the header, and we're going to change this from interact void to of the type boolean, because we want it to return a bool. Then in here, we just by default make it return false, so it succeeds. And then we go to our door.h, change the return type, and the .cpp, and change the return type. So at the very bottom here, we're going to have it set to return false. And then if you recall from the previous video, we want it to return true if the door does contain a door key code. So if door key code is empty, we're going to check if it's not empty. If it's not empty, we return true. And otherwise, we run through, do all the normal code that we need to, and return false. I don't think there was any other place where we had, yes, we do have the interact here on the unlocking key as well, so we're going to change that to boolean. Open up the header for the unlocking key and change that to bool as well. And we're just going to return false because we don't need to do anything with it. Okay, now that we have that, let's go to our character. And when we interact, we want to launch the widget based upon whether or not it returns true or false. So what we do is this check here and check what this returns. So if this returns true, we want to return as well as open our key code widget here. So to make this a little bit easier, we're going to create a blueprint event that we can fire off and take in the door reference that we have. So that door reference is going to allow us to pass it into the door ref variable that we have that is exposed on spawn to make it easier, so we can do it through blueprint. And then if it returns false, obviously we're going to continue and run the normal code. So let's create our blueprint event. So we will do it right above the interaction distance. It's going to be a U function. Blueprint. We'll do blueprint implementable event. Category equals escape room. Wrap that in quotes. And let's do door. So we're going to do void. And let's give it the name of open door or open key code. It's going to take in a reference to the door. So class a door. Just like so. So then we just have to call it whenever we want to use it. So such as right here. So open key code, and we pass in the door. So that's going to be cast to a door from hit result dot get actor. Okay, what's the issue here? So we need to include a door. So include what's it, actors door.h. As you can see, I got rid of the error. So let's give this a try. Let's close down everything, save it, and relaunch. Okay, so we have some errors here. We have to alter the function inside of item.h as well. So let's open item.h, change this to a boolean, go to the .cpp, again, change that to a bool, and at the end, we just return false. And then we can rerun it. Close down out of that, close out of our interface, and we should be good to go. Alright, so it's just asking to restore the map. I don't care enough to. Let's reopen the assets. So here we have our third person character. Let's search for that event. So open key code. The event open key code. Here we have our widget. And what we can do is create the widget key code, add it to the viewport, and just plug in the door rep. So I'm going to delete all these now. Compile save. Let's see. So I walk up to the store, press F. So I still have movement, which I don't want. So it has a key code, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I delete it, it should not open the widget, which is correct. Let's put that back to 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we want to disable the input. So we're going to get player controller. Set input mode to UI only. And continue to link. Walk up to it, press F. 1, 2, 3, 4, press OK. And it's correct. However, I can still not move. And that reason is because we have to alter our close widget to get our player controller. Set input mode to game only. And I also want to hide our mouse cursor, like so. Because of that, when we set our input mode, I also want to show the mouse cursor in this case. And leave it like so. So let's give it a try. Whoops. Alright, target's going to be our player controller. Let's check it. Press F. 1 blah blah blah. Incorrect. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it works. Okay. So that is all good. Let's save it. Now we know everything's working. So same thing. Let's try it on the client. Error 1, 2, 3, 4. It's good to go. So now we have everything set up. We call it try door. That ends up being successful. So what we're going to do is create a function in here. That's going to be, let's do void try. Let's do open door. It's going to be taking in a door reference or passing a door pointer in. Call it door. And this is just to simply do a check. So what we're going to do that check for, let's actually move this down right above interact. I did that in front of the wrong function. So if door and has authority, we will simply open the door. But because we're using our interact interface, what we have to do is cast it. So we're going to simply, actually, we're going to have a separate function in the door class just for opening. So we're going to have a void. Let's do force interact. We don't need to take in a character or anything like that. If we have authority, what we do is essentially what is right inside of here. So we alter it. So if be open, we open it. Otherwise, we close it. As you can see, be open gets altered. We're going to do that right up there to alter it. So we change its state. So if it's closed, it's going to be open and vice versa. And then because we are actually force opening the door, I want to confirm it. So I want to do be locked equals false. So that way we technically unlock it when we do force interact. Okay, so that's all going to be running on the server. Back to the character real quick. Here's our open door. We're going to do door force interact. So otherwise, let's do the door check separately. If door is invalid, we return. So otherwise, we do a server RPC, so server underscore open door. We're going to have a server, so you function, server, reliable, with validation. We do void server underscore open door. It's going to take in, again, a pointer to a door. Let's pass in door when we go to call it. Let's set our validate to return true by default. And inside of here, all we literally are going to do is call open door and pass in door again, like so. So we're just doing a call right back to our original function. So what we're going to do is we're going to call open door from the widget. We know that open door has to be blueprint callable. So you function blueprint callable. Set the category to be escape room door, and we should be good to go. So let's relaunch and give it a try. Okay, let's relaunch the app or reopen the assets. Now we're good to go there. Let's go to try door. So if it's good to go, instead of closing out the widget, we're going to leave that open for a second. So we want to get our owning character. So what we can do is get owning player pawn. So what does this return? I like it's player controller. So get owning pawn will do essentially the same thing. We're going to cast it to the third person character. And from here we do open door. And we pass in our door ref as the door we want to open. And then we simply close the widget. So let's see this in action and hopefully it works. So we're on the server right now. 12224 error 1234 and it opens. So now we just have the issue of once it's open. So we're going to have some conditions that we want to have with it being locked and unlocked as well. But real quick, let's give this a try on the client to make sure. One, two, three, three. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're good to go. I don't know why that's just amusing to me. So we know that we're good to go there. We just have some minor annoyances, such as, for example, if we start unlocked, we don't want this to show up. Instead, we want it to just fully open. So that's going to be some minor things that we have to change. Same thing kind of goes for this drawer here. So we have to kind of link start locked and the door key code up. So it works to some extent together. And same thing goes if it is locked, we do not want to have it, or sorry, if door key code is not empty, we don't want to have a linked key and that kind of thing. So we're going to uncheck that. I know I want a key code for this. Or actually, better yet, let's set that to be a key. Let's remove the key code. And we'll start kind of making a little game out of this. So that opens that. That has a locked or a key code to it. So this has the key code. So what I want to do is this currently has the linked stored item inside of here, or inside of this drawer, which this is our key. So I want to get rid of that. This bottom drawer, I want it to have a key. Let's set it in there. And then eventually I want this one to be triggered by this trigger pad. So when we walk over this, the player discovers that it opens this drawer here. I want it to show some kind of text or an image or something like that that we can pick up and examine that has this door key code to it, so 1, 2, 3, 4. In which case, once we open that, it will then give us the key to pick up, which will then open the door. So it's linked, everything's kind of linked up and has its own purpose. So this is what, just an item? Yeah. So that's really going to be it. And this video kind of went on a little long, but we are in a pretty good place. So that's going to be all for this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a team deathmatch series just for patrons, and we carry a bunch of other features like weapon customization and Call of Duty like spawning. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord. That's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. So I'll see you in the next video.